Alright, what's good, everybody? Where's my cell phone? Who is... Let me hear myself. Okay, the latency on that is a little wiggity whack-yo, but it's no big deal. So I had to stop my Grandia stream after the LAN cable failed, and then when I tried to restart it immediately, it failed shortly after again. I don't want to deal with having to do 6 VODs on fucking Friday. Like, fuck that shit. Stop moaning, man. It's unbecoming. Okay, let's go to events. So I did all of this shit except for the EX free. That one kind of whooped my ass. All of this shit so far. Obviously more is gonna come out. I'm probably gonna have to go back to my older VODs to like get the run in. I know she locked herself in with Azul, but I'm surprised that motherfucker didn't tear her to pieces. She does not rock those colors, man. I like her anklet. So yeah, she has some of Lucrezia's memories. So this is Vashera. It's an airship that kind of replaces the High Wind. I hate its 5 o'clock shadow. It's like some pubes and shit. Nasty as fuck. I'll be back in a moment. I gotta check the stove to see if I didn't leave it on. So she can basically use the internet to access the subconsciouses of other people. I feel like these motherfuckers probably played Xenosaga 1 and 2 and they thought, that Encephalon drive shit was bossed on. It was the best part of 1 and 2 in general. Well, I kind of like the Song of Nephilim dungeon Xenosaga 1. a little bit more because of music and all of that shit, the boss fights. But that Encephalon Drive was one of the stronger parts. Flashback sequence in 2, man. I love Xenosaga 1 and 2. I never played Xenosaga Free, but I like the Encephalon Drive section in that story. You see that, kids? So 5 billion years from now, when the sun goes supernova, uh, there will still be some meaning to the life that existed here. So again, it does play into Gaia theory. This world building is not bad. Like, people criticize the remake, rebirth world building, but this shit right here that's been expanded on the greater lifestream is not really uh, as problematic. One thing I will kind of like acknowledge is that the samsara concept did kind of play a role in the world building of FF7 Rebirth the way I thought it was. I was mostly just thinking about like the concepts of symbolism, but also I've seen this type of stuff explored with Dark Souls 2 and 3. But you do run the risk of making the live stream seem like this afterlife type of place, which is not really what it's meant to be. It has a lot of consciousness within it. You're gonna have to pay for the damages. I think what I found disappointing is the way these other possibilities looked. It was a little too close to like multiverse theory, and I just don't like that. Especially because it doesn't really work for the type of stuff you get with Final Fantasy VII. It's so like enclosed off, whereas Rebirth kind of puts you on an adventure. So railroading you like that, like you're in remake territory, or 13, I don't really mess with it. Now, at one point, I thought that Rebirth was going to be closer to remake, but with other towns and locales, not the case at all. I hear a little bit of Masashi Hamauzu's like Final Fantasy 13 sentiments. You know, the way he hits the drums and they like echo. It's too bad with 13 he goes with something that's a little bit more popish and fantastical, because when he's able to tap into stuff like this, the 13 soundtrack is good, but when uh, it sounds like the beat to Fireflies from Owl City, that's when I don't fuck with it. Now, some people really like Sunlift Waterscape, so maybe that's just a different beast. This shit here reminds me of like a shonen anime that's not an adaptation of a manga, just an original work of fantasy action. There's a couple animes with that type of approach that just sounded like this. I know it's kind of a talking point these days that anime is uh, too adaptation oriented at the moment. Like everything is finally getting an anime adaptation. All these light novels, video games, manga. So there's not enough room for like original works. I know I was like a big fan of Evangelion, even though the manga chapter came out first. The manga is really an adaptation of the anime. That was just like promotional material. A debut chapter came out because the anime, like, you know, they work on these episodes in months before they drop. I love the Evangelion manga though. S. Cryad, I really like that one. Man, I love seeing Midgar all fucked up. Tetanus Midgar. Yo, this is kind of like what RE9 does with the Return of Raccoon City, where you just look at these fucked up ruins. Because they blow that place to Kingdom Come. like my issues with the compilation in terms of world building is like inserting characters and scenes where they don't belong, changing what happens in the continuity of those scenes, turning Zack into a Gary Stu in more ways than one. I like that off-screen fight. Oh, it'd be nice if this game got like a proper remaster. But this is why Ever Crisis exists, so that I get a chance to experience this campaign in some capacity. Without having to become a yo-ho pirate. Another thing I don't like about the new compilation games, resurrecting all these dead villains because you don't know how to like extend the story. So this is where the narrative becomes a little hot. What type of unit of measurement is that? Oh, because you use fire magic. Because it's not going to be from getting a drop of blood from me. I'm going to fuck you up. I don't stand a chance against her in my base form. She doesn't stand a chance against me in my chaos form. They really try to get fight choreography out of these chibi models. I mean, they're not that chibi. That's like completely ridiculous. But I was just kind of skipping around to avoid them big fireballs she was projecting. I do like Rosso. I mean, she's kind of the hottest character in the series in FF7, in my opinion. Just a little bit of heartburn and acid reflux. Pick up your damn phone, man. I'll be honest, one thing I don't miss about the clamshell phones is how easily they would fall out your pocket. They're like a pocket knife. They want to slip out your pocket. His arms are surprisingly masculine for a dude who's otherwise I don't know, like not very masculine. like he does have top energy, but he has like skinny, long, lanky, awkward top energy. Except for his arms, where he's like a dude who wears tap out shirts. Anyway, let me get up out of here. So we'll probably get more next week or the week after. That was largely exposition driven. We didn't even get like a fight. I thought it was kind of cool though. So I'm probably gonna go back to streaming on Monday. I don't really want to do a Saturday stream as I've said before because my younger bro is going to be back on Saturday, and I think he's gonna want his room to himself after being out for such a long time. I had a good time watching that. As I said before, I guess the premise of like there being like a secret underground facility of Shinra experiments that are more experimental and unethical than what they did with Soldier being introduced this late into the story and not being like a Chekhov's gun that comes out in OG. Like they just kind of keep that under wraps all throughout the events of FF7. That's kind of dumb, but some of the world building is not so bad. But I guess the most egregious things with regards to narrative, that's going to be much later on. I don't really know. I think there's probably going to be just one more act of Dirge after this, maybe dropping on May, June, July. But yeah, this act that we're getting, I know we're gonna get it long enough to have a fight with Neto, since that's what all these events are about, and that's where I'm getting all this blue crystal from. But yeah, very exposition driven. I don't think the inclusion of Omega in the world building and greater live stream is a problem compared to some of these other things that Dirge adds to world building. Things that were introduced either too late or just in and of themselves ridiculous. But whatever. Now that First Soldier is done and Crisis Core is done, OG is on like this 2 territory. I want to see some more OG. They're probably trying to hold those cards together for when Part 3 starts getting a trailer, most likely around June. But they're already kind of teasing us with the Great Glacier stuff that we saw in the last event, so it ain't nothing but a thing. I do like seeing some of those PS2 cutscenes, but I like the fact that they're giving us like fight choreography in game. Like the visual work stuff is acceptable to see, but yeah, seeing the raw like in-engine PS2 cutscenes, no visual work CG, no outsourced stuff, that's a little rough, especially because that's 480p stuff being blasted in my face. But you know, Square's visual works department, they're kind of the stars of Square Enix. Like, they will put on something that looks great. Even now with VII Remake and Rebirth, they're still kind of knocking it out the park. Although it feels like they're less relevant than they've been in quite a long time. Especially since they don't longer call themselves Visual Works. But anyway, Monday I'll be back to Grandia. I don't know when I'm gonna be back to Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, but it's probably gonna be when I'm feeling much better. Because the 4th and 5th Kalpa are dry as hell. I'm not gonna front with you. And I'm in more of a money making mindset right now, health mindset, than I am a let's just maximize all the content I can give you guys mindset. Anyways, it's been your boy Mr. Waka 7. Thank you guys for watching. And so hold up, let me see if my voice is being captured.